across the board, across the whole entire game. The races are same thing. You know, you go to a new area, you got a checkpoint race, you got an endurance race, you got point to point race. Yeah, okay, the game is a bit repetitive, but it's been the amount of vehicles that are available, because there are many. Apart from the fact that the zero G, in many races, it makes you use a vehicle called the zero G. Not a fan, really not a fan. Just every time I've done a race with a zero G, I've said to myself, or even out loud, I really wish I could use another vehicle. This race would be easy if I was using another vehicle. But you're forced to use the zero G, and the zero G is pants. But, well, it's great on solid roads, but the moment you hit off road, which you have to on pretty much every race on this game, it just drops to 20, 30, 40 miles an hour and doesn't go any faster while all the other vehicles are zimming past you because they are not using zero Gs. But yeah, this game may be seen as repetitive, and you know, after this run, I will check out other people's reviews of this game just to see if they sort of correspond and correlate with what I've said, because I never look at details or reviews of a game before I play it. You know, I'll buy it, I play it myself, I do my own personal review or video, which is, you know, what my channel's all about. And I always play the game later in life so that it's just to see if it sort of stands the test of time. Then do my own personal review, and then watch my favorite um, reviewers, like, you know, Classic Game Room as an example. Um, Watch my favorite viewers' videos to see if it sort of stands up, correlates, to see if they agree with what I've said. Um, so I haven't watched or read any reviews for Fuel as of yet, but I will be doing that once this run is over and this video is over. Um, Before I start my next title, and it'd be interesting to see if they agree with what I've said. But you know, hats off to Gameware. This game may be a mess, but I've loved it. I've spent 90 hours of my life on it. I wanted to go from one end of the map to the other. I don't even. I know for a fact that that it didn't even cross my mind to do that on either of the Forza Horizons. You know, once I'd finished them, I'd finish them. I sort of put the games back on the shelf until new downloadable content was made available, or I got a ping update on my phone telling me that a new race was available or something like that. But you know, I actually wanted to give this game a fond farewell, because I will at some point go back and get the remainder of the gold medals. Because there's only, I think I missed on about 18 to 20. The rest of them I did. Yeah, I sort of wanted to give this game a farewell because it's been great. It really has, and it's cheap. It is cheap as chips. Um, this is a personal opinion. I could be very, very wrong, but as far as I know personally, this game didn't do too well. Um, because I'll put it this way: out of my friend circle, I'm the only person that I know of that has actually played this game. No one that I know in my gaming community, if you want to call it that, has ever spoken to me about this game, mentioned it. I've never heard someone say, "Oh, I'm working through full fuel at the moment," like they do with Elder Scrolls, for example. At work, the guys are like, "Oh, I'm playing Elder Scrolls." Yeah. I've never heard someone go, "I'm playing Fuel," and amongst my friends, I have said, "Oh, I'm playing Fuel," and pretty much all the time they've gone, "What's Fuel? What console's that on?" So, going on that alone, um, because games that are popular are normally mentioned within my friend circle, going on that alone, I'm assuming this game didn't do too well. I don't remember seeing adverts for it or anything like that. which may be why there hasn't been a follow-up, because I certainly don't know of a Fuel 2. I can imagine games like Forza Horizon took some of their ideas from this. There's probably many games that got their ideas from this, either that or this game got their ideas from their competitors. But Fuel was never one that stood out. So that'll be interesting to see as well how popular it is and why there hasn't been a number 2. I can only assume that, they put all this effort into this game, and you can clearly see that a lot of love has gone into this title. So many vehicles available, 70,000 miles worth. Well, we're doing it right now. 70,000 miles worth, and this is from west to east. It's not even corner to corner, which would be longer. There's a lot of map, a hell of a lot of map. Quite a fair few vehicles available. I mean, you saw at the beginning of this video me go across the whole entire line briefly. Lots of games available, 70 odd career races, and God knows how many challenges. You find new things pop up on the map as you work through, so hidden vehicles and things like that, and lorries you've got to chase down, and there's lots of vista points, which are viewing points. They're areas that you drive to, and they're sort of photographic areas, pretty areas of the game, and liveries as well. Skins, if for people that don't know what a livery is, because some people may not. Skins for your vehicles to make them look different. I would have liked a small sort of upgrade thing, maybe buy a new engine for your vehicle, stuff like that. That would have been cool, because it would have been great to be able to use your favourite vehicles on tracks that you really enjoy, but you are limited to what vehicles you can use for each race. But you can clearly see a lot of love has gone into this game. It really has. Clearly see that. And it's a shame there hasn't been a follow-up. At least I don't know of a Fuel 2. I really do hope I'm not mistaken there. But yeah, I'm assuming that although so much love has gone into it, and like I said, no one I know of has played it, that it just didn't do well enough, so they maybe made a loss on it. And it is something I will certainly look up. But it's a shame, because, this is a darn fine game. It's a very fine game. I've been driving for 23 minutes now, 24 minutes. Still going strong. I'm not going to look at how far through the map we are, purely because if I keep pausing it, it's going to take longer to get across, and it's not going to be an accurate time readout. And more to the point, I'd like to be pleasantly surprised when we get to the other end. Oh yeah, I mentioned that coffee 5 minutes ago. Bear with me, I'm going to wet my whistle, because I've been nattering for the past 20 minutes. Yeah. Coffee's on my left. I'm accelerating with my right hand again. Coffee's cold. The coffee is almost stone cold. When I mean I'm accelerating my right, of course I'm accelerating my right hand, because the trigger's on the right hand side. I'm taking my left hand off the control pad to grab my coffee, which means I'm releasing the analog stick, meaning I have no control of the bike. Therefore, I couldn't really avoid that truck just then that almost took me clean off, but gladly didn't. Now, going back to the variety sort of things, we've been driving this road for 20 odd minutes now, and you may have noticed that the only thing that we've passed on the road is the same ramp, truck in the middle, ramp on the other side combination. And almost every time it's been on the left-hand side of the road. The odd one or two has had a smaller ramp on the right-hand side, but it's pretty much been the same thing every time. And that's what I mean by variety. There's a lot of repetitiveness. It's not as varied as Forza Horizon, for example, but in fairness, Forza Horizon... No, I was about to say Forza Horizon's on the Xbox One, but it's not. Forza Horizon 2 was on the 360, and there's a lot of variety to that game. So, but That's made by yup, the name has just disappeared. Uh, I should know that. I do know that, but it's because I'm waffling so quickly that it'll come back to me later. But the Forza Horizon games have a much bigger development team and probably have a much bigger budget too. So there is a lot more variety on the map than there is on this. Um, so it's probably unfair to compare Horizon to this. But yeah, there's a lot of repetitiveness on this. The buildings are just sort of copied and pasted all around the map, and you've got the same shed and the same huts and the same this and the same that. And as you are noticing, the same ramp on the same ramp on this long road again and again. It's going to bug me now. Who was Forza Horizon made by? Come on. Because they didn't just do Forza Horizon, they did the actual Forza games as well. And when you start each of them up, you get the intro. Brain was about to say Team 17, but Team 17 is Worms, isn't it? No? It is Team 7. No! It's going to bug me. Oh well. I can see. You know what I mean. If you've played Forza, then you know what I mean. You get sort of it's dark, and then lights appear, and then cars whiz across the bottom of the screen, and then in their dust, you're left with Team 10. Is it Team 10? Yeah, Team 10. Yeah, Team 17 was Worms. Team 10 are the people that developed Forza. So yeah, got there in the end, I think. Still going strong. I think this is the Dustlands, the Dust Bowl, which is around about somewhere in the middle of the map. I get back to have a bit more of my ice cold coffee before this bend is coming up. Almost on the half an hour mark of driving this lovely long map. But one thing I can give this game. As you can see, we're driving from one end of the map, so we're going through different zones, because as you saw on the map earlier, there's zones that you go to for each sort of segment of the game. And as you can see, we're crossing from zone to zone, crossing the borders, without any load times. You can continuously drive, and as we are now, we've gone half an hour now, constant driving, and the game hasn't loaded once. That is one good thing. The loading screens between races, obviously, and when you respawn or crash. But other than that, load times are quite good. They're not too bad. It's the same as if you crash in a race and you decide you wish to restart the race, which, to be honest, it's pointless respawning, because like I mentioned earlier, you will respawn in the wrong place facing the wrong way. So it's best to just restart if you crash. And it doesn't take too long to restart, which is great, because there's a few races where I must have restarted 30, 40, 50 times before I managed to complete it. Well, no, restart times, this game's pretty good. Ooh. But we are still going. 30 minutes in real time so far, and I think we're only about halfway across. No idea what the actual time is in real life. Must be 4:30, possibly 5 o'clock-ish. Um, I have until 6:30 before I have to go down and do my husbandy duties, washing up and all that stuff, feed the cats. We have the same routine every day. I do the washing up and feed the cats, and the missus does the cooking. It seems to be an agreement that we have, which is fine by me, because I'm not the best chef in the world, and she makes some nice meals. So, yeah, I wash up, she cooks. Seems pretty fair. I think my parents do that as well. Yeah, they do. Must be where I get it from. Yeah. Anyway, where are we? Trying to think on. I actually find I'm looking at what you can see now instead of looking at what I can see. I'm not looking at my TV anymore. I'm actually playing this game by watching the screen on my camera. Just to see if you're picking up the glitching as much as I can see it. Because I'm watching it on a large TV or watching it on whatever you're watching YouTube's on. YouTube's whatever you're watching YouTube on, whether it be your phone, your PC, your laptop, your TV, and everything else. To be fair, it's quite incredible how many different ways you can watch YouTube nowadays, isn't it? When you think about it, tablets, phones, TVs, games consoles, you can sort of access it anywhere. Wow, technology's come in leaps and bounds since I was a kid. I remember back in the day when everybody had a landline. Mobile phones didn't even exist. And you couldn't go anywhere without giving your parents the phone numbers of the house phone numbers, the landline numbers, which nobody really uses anymore, the landline numbers of the parents of the friend's house that you were going to. So they could ring up and sort of tell you to come home. And if you happen to be mid-journey between mid-journey between your house and your friend's house, no one could get hold of you. Crazy times when you think about it. I mean, obviously, I prefer mobile phones now because life's a lot safer in a way, because you could be more willing to let your children out of the house to go out and play because they've got mobile phones in their pockets nowadays. So if anything goes wrong, they can call you, get in touch with you instantly, or call their parents and let them know what's going on, or that they're safe, or that if they need help and stuff like that. But back when I was a kid, there were no mobile phones, so if you were out and about and just thinking of an example here, if I think of a personal example, near where I lived, well, my parents don't live there anymore. Near where I lived, there was sort of a wooded area, and it was just called the woods. As kids, we had places that literally had their names. We had the woods, we had the wall, WALL, the wall, and what the wall was a very short wall that was about knee height outside the local shop, where as teenagers we would sit and parents know about it now, so I could admit it, but in my case, as a 13-year-old, smoke, because I started smoking at a very young age. Don't start. Just don't, okay? If you're a young dude, young girl, don't start smoking. Biggest mistake you ever make in your life. Don't start smoking. Because I've been doing it for 28 years now. I've tried stopping multiple times, and just don't start, okay? But anyway, the wall is where me and my group of friends would go to sit and do nothing. We'd spend all day sat on the wall, literally the wall. But that's just the way it was back then. But yeah, back to my mobile phone example. There was an area called the woods, which was exactly that. It was the woods, a big wooded area, lots of trees, um, and not much else. And I was down there faffing about one day. I just passed a Doppler truck. Doppler trucks normally, okay, they normally give you things when you hit them. Anyway, so I was down the woods and I was meeting some friends. They were due to arrive. I got there a bit early. Um, God knows what time we were meant to be there. Just for just for the sake of the story, I was meeting my friends and they were due to arrive at 1 o'clock. Now I got there at 12:30, um, thinking I'll sort of chill out down the woods and surprise them. And I was there waiting, all quite happy, and I thought I'd climb a tree so that I could see them come at me from a distance. And I fell out of that tree, and I landed awkwardly on my foot, and I sprained my ankle. And I was a kid, and it was very painful. And I was going ouchie, 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 ouchie. A lot louder than that, and a bit more dramatic, but you know what I mean. And there was not a lot I could do. I was on the floor, I could walk, in the woods. There was nothing I could do about it because I couldn't call anybody because I didn't have a mobile phone. They didn't exist. There was no. If there was a payphone nearby, I couldn't get to it because I couldn't walk. Luckily for me, my friends were on their way and they turned up 20 minutes to a half hour later, picked me up and dragged me to my closest friend's house, and I got help from there. But if they hadn't have done, I would have been there all night possibly, unless I decided to crawl home, or crawl to the nearest building or whatever. Um, so yeah, that's just completely different times. Mobile phones nowadays are a fantastic invention because nowadays you fall, you break your ankle in the woods, you pick your phone up out your pocket if it isn't smashed and call your dad and go, "Dad, I've broken my ankle, help!" And he turns up in the car and saves the day. Me, I was stuck in the woods with a sprained ankle, going oochie ouchie oochie. It's not a lot you can do. The only, I suppose, the only great thing about not having a mobile phone back then was if you went out, you went out in peace. That was the one thing. That's the one thing I miss about having a mobile phone. And sometimes I do sort of leave my phone at home for this reason. But you go into town, you wander around the shops, you just don't want to be disturbed, you know. And I'll leave my phone at home. I'll obviously let people close to me, that the important people, know that I'm going out, but I'll leave my phone at home and just take a wander around the shops, or switch my phone off even, just in case I do need it, just so I can spend an hour in peace knowing that no one's going to call me, text me, or whatever. And back then, if you were out, you were out. And if someone rang your parents' house to say, "Ooh, is Chris home?" the parents would go, "No, he's out," and that'll be the end of it. But nowadays, is Chris home? No, he's out. Mind you, they wouldn't even call your parents nowadays; they'd just call you. But no, I'm out. Oh, where are you? I'm here. Oh, I'm coming then. And all of a sudden, you're not on your own anymore. Back then, if you went out, you got some peace and quiet because no one could disturb you because you weren't carrying a mobile phone about you. But I would rather have a mobile phone in my pocket nowadays, and I'd rather my children had a mobile phone in their pocket so that if something goes wrong, they can call daddy and daddy will come and save the day. Um, which is great. But yeah, as a kid, you didn't get that luxury. And that was the point I was making. You knew all your neighbours, everybody on your street. You knew everybody because if anything ever went wrong, I don't know. As an example, I don't know, can't think of any, but anything ever went wrong, the first thing you do if you weren't close to home was you go to the closest household nearby, and you can pretty much guarantee back in the like early 80s ish that you'd go to every single one of your neighbors at some point for something because you didn't have a mobile phone. So that way you got to know your neighbors. So everybody on the street knew everybody, which was quite cool. Everybody lived in their own little community, their own bubble, which was great. But yeah, nowadays I would rather have a mobile phone, of course. But back then things were different. Was there a point to that? No, possibly. If I have, I've forgotten it. Ah. Still glitching away in the background. Still travelling. Um, wow, 1 hour 9 minutes. We started at the 27-minute mark. So for 42 minutes now, we've been driving. No idea how far away we are from the other end of the world. But 42 minutes so far, going strong. Can I think of any other stories? Actually, yeah, here we go. It is a mobile phone story for you. Or not having a mobile phone story, I should might add. So, I had the police chase after me once. And, well, look for me anyway. They found me in the end and dragged me home. I got into a lot of trouble that day. But I sort of I was at home. I was chilling out. It was late in the evening, and a friend of mine, obviously I'm not going to say his name, he knocked on my door. We were young teenagers. God, I must have been 14, maybe 13, 14. He knocked on my door. I had this beautiful bike back then. Oh, it was a lovely thing. I adored it. It was a little Saracen. Um, I think it was a Saracen. No, Barracuda. Barracuda bike. I loved it. Saracen, that's what I've got nowadays. So, yeah. So this old the bike was called a Barracuda. It was a Barracuda mountain bike. I loved it. Big fat tyres, Anyway, so yeah, my mate knocked on the door. And I'm like, it's late, right? And he's like, no, it's cool. Just, you fancy going for a quick bike ride? And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I spoke to the parents. Yeah, Mum, Dad, can I go for a bike ride? Yeah, sure. You got your lights? Yeah, it's all good. Stick to the main road. Not the main road. Stick to the main pathway. Don't go Don't go anywhere near any main roads. All the usual safety measures that they gave me before I left the house. Yeah, no worries. Be back in a couple of hours. Your tea will be ready. Yeah, okay. So me and my buddy, we got on our bikes, and we buggered off. And as we were we were heading to a product placement here, I suppose, but we were heading to Tesco's. And we thought we'd go to Tesco's and spend our £2-3 that we had each in our pocket on sweets and then come back. That's what you call a bike ride. And Tesco's was about an hour away. It was about an hour journey each way. So we were pushing for time already. And because I only had 2 hours before I had to be in for tea. So I knew I was going to be, I don't know, 10 minutes late. But we thought if we burnt it, which is what we called it back then, you burn it, I've got to burn it. Which meant going fast on your bike. I'm burning it, yeah. I'm going faster. I burned it down that hill. Going fast on your bike was burning it back then. So we said to each other, if we burn it, we might be able to shave off a few minutes here and there. We should get back on time. All right, fair enough. So we climbed the nearest hill, got to the top of the hill, and it was pretty much flat and downhill all the way to Tesco's from that point onwards for the next 45 minutes to an hour. Ooh, hold on. We've hit the end of the world. We're here. This is it. 40 minutes. Yep. No, 27, so I got to do maths now. 20, there we go, end of the world. 27, 40 will be to 107. 50. So, yeah, 47 minutes it's taken to get here. 47 minutes to cross from one end of the map to the other. How cool is that? Now I'm going to finish this story quickly. Um, so anyway, so we thought we'd burn it, so we burnt it all the way. So this is us on our bikes, pedaling as fast as we can. We can make it. We can make it. Swerving, dodging, doing everything we can, spinning around corners, and yeah, we can do it. We're all the way there. Anyway, my mate decided he saw a sort of a ramp. It was like a mud mound, a muddy mound. He saw this muddy mound. He's like, I'm gonna jump it. I said, no, don't jump it. I'm gonna jump it. I'm gonna jump it. And he went like this, and he hit this muddy mound, and he went boom, and he got some height, and we're like, yeah. I was hoping I'd hit a jump there, but I didn't. Got some height, hit this jump, went up in the air, come down, mislanded the bike, went splat, bang, fell off the bike, skidded, and ended up in a river. Not good. Anyway, he wasn't injured. We pulled him out, and he wasn't. He was just wet, and that was about it. He was a bit embarrassed and very, very wet. And he's like, "We got to dry off. We got to dry off." And we went to a local bridge. There was this bridge being built at the time, and it had a motorway over the top of it. And we thought we'd go under this bridge where we couldn't be found. We'd hide under this little bridge, and we'd sit and wait for 10 minutes just for him to cool off a little bit and dry and get his composure back, and then hit the road and burn it back again. We fell asleep under this bridge, and we woke up and it was the following day. We slept the whole night through, woke up, and it was the following day. Anyway, we got on our bikes and we went back home very slowly, going, we're in trouble, we're in trouble. You know that panic thing you get when you're heading home to your parents' house knowing you're in trouble. Anyway, we got back and the police were waiting outside my house. There they were. And I'm like, oh no. Because mobile phones didn't exist at the time, my parents had called the police to try and find me. I got into a lot of trouble that day. An awful lot of trouble for disappearing and not coming home straight away. That wasn't good. That was a very, very, very long time ago. So, yeah. And just as I came down to the bottom of the hill, because I could sort of see my house at the bottom of the hill and I could see the police waiting outside, a cop car did come behind me and pull over and stop me and go, "You're supposed to be at home because you're missing." And I'm like, oh dear. So I was grounded for a good week or two then. But yeah, true story. Anyway, this has been Fuel. We've crossed from one end of the world to the other. 43 minutes. That's left to right. It's not corner to corner. Corner to corner. Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt that because obviously it will be twice as long. I think that's how maths work. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it does. On a square, edge to edge is the same distance from there to there and there to there, but when you go from here to here, I think you'll find the distance is doubled. So if it's taken 43 minutes, 47 minutes to go from one edge to the other, you can only assume then it's going to take at least an hour and a half to get from corner to corner. I'm not going to be doing that in this, but I might do it on my own time, just out of pure curiosity. But that's it. The challenges are done. Silvered, I must admit, but they're done. Oh, gold all the challenges, but the career races are all silver. I'm only missing 34 gold medals, so that's literally 34 races that I haven't got gold in, because you get 2 for silver, 1 for bronze, and 3 for gold, and I've always done silver or above. So if there's 34 golds missing, then, or stars missing, then that means it's 34 races that I haven't got gold medals in. That's more than half. That's pretty good. But this has been Fuel on the PlayStation 3. 90 hours in. Just gonna confirm that. General info. 90 hours, 6 minutes in. Long way. That's how long it's taken me to do this whole entire game, bar 34 gold medals. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been glitchy. It's been stressful. It's been great. Get it if you can. If you've got a 360 or a PS3, I don't know if it's on the store, but definitely get it. I'll be looking into it to see. Oh yeah, of course, we said we'd try it online, didn't we? Before we go. So let's just save data just in case. Quick coffee. Play online. Online race, online free ride. Online free ride. You cannot log into the server. Fair enough. Like I said, this game is old now. So I should have sort of expected that, really. Online race. Search. It's actually genuinely trying to connect. Network error. Alright, fair enough. Incoming invitations. There are no messages. Alright, fair enough. So the game is definitely... Ooh, can I create? Leap of faith. 10. That'll do. Alright, fair enough. So yeah, the servers are definitely off, but that's expected, really. Yeah, this has been Fuel on the PlayStation 3. I've enjoyed it. It's definitely worth getting. It's a couple of quid nowadays. It's so cheap. Um, for 90 hours worth of gameplay, I mean, that's huge. There are not many games that are 90 hours long. You know, there's a lot of games that aren't even 10 hours long nowadays. So, you know, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. But yeah, Fuel on the PS3, loads of fun. Loads of glitchy, stressful, irritating, but enjoyable fun. Thank you for joining me on this video. I really appreciate it. Just you simply clicking on one of my videos means the absolute world to me. It really does. I gained a new subscriber recently. I seem to have gone up by one again. I'm up to 32 subscribers now, which is just brilliant. Thank you, whoever you are. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. I look forward to seeing you next time for whatever game we start next. And until then, I'm trying to keep this conversation going until I get to the end of this list, because I'm doing a quick flick through all the cars. You can just have a quick browse as to what's available. There's the old hovercraft. It's one of the last vehicles you unlocked, and that's the very last vehicle you unlock. But yeah, this has been Fuel on the PlayStation 3. Definitely check it out if you can. All the best, my friends. Take care of each other. Keep smiling, and I will see you again very soon. Take care now. Bye bye.